we're going to take a look in the nerd room. This is the new nerd room. And you probably didn't know that there's cows on the way down to the nerd room. But anyway, I don't know where to begin because there's tons of stuff. The room's a little bit in disarray right now because of the games. I guarantee probably by the time you see this video, this entire wall will be full. In fact, actually, this wall right here was completely full. And just recently, I had to start building shelves on this wall here, which used to be, excuse me, it just used to be posters. But now I'm starting to move all the games over here for the background, you know, in the videos. So it rapidly grows all the time because I get donations all the time. So maybe you might happen to see something in here that you donated. So thanks a lot, you know, to everybody. And you know, even, you know, not just donations, but this whole room is a result of everybody supporting the show, buying the DVD, you know, everything in general. It's just, you know, thanks a lot. But I don't know where to begin because there's so much stuff here. But I'll start here, I guess. These are all like the tabletop arcades. I got Pac-Man, Mrs. Pac-Man, Frogger, Donkey Kong. That's Galaxy in there, and Popeye. These are some Nintendo boxes here. Yeah, all these old boxes. It's crazy. People used to just throw these out, but now they're kind of like collector's items. Let's see. So here's some more obscure stuff. We got TV Schoolhouse 1. I wonder if there was a 2. Might even have it. No, I don't. But these were for the, what the hell was this? Oh, it was the RCA Studio 2. I'll show you that later. All the consoles. So we got tons of games here. We got Atari 2600 and television. Here we got some Nintendo 64, Super Nintendo. Moving up to the top here, we got the Aladdin deck enhancers. Those are really bizarre. I don't even know exactly what they do yet. But here's Sega Master System games. I got a bunch of them here. Sega Genesis. Yeah, that's it for Genesis. Oh, those are just Genesis in the box. I have plenty more up here. Right up there, there's a few Master System games. Yeah, there's a lot of Sega Genesis. There's some 32X games up there too. Those are Odyssey 2 games right there. Those are in the box. Oh, and here's some Odyssey 2 games out of the box. Then we got a few ColecoVision games here. Atari 7800. And these are, well, these are both PAL Super Nintendo games as well as some Super Famicom games in there. Super Famicom. And, well, that's a Game Genie and a Super Game Boy. That pretty much covers this wall here, so let's move over over to this wall. Oh, and I got consoles everywhere. Consoles up the ass. That's Volley 6. You ever play Volley 1 through 5? I haven't. Nintendo 64 games. As you can see, I've had to like label most of these. But these are Famicom games here. These are really, really weird. This is DuckTales. I don't know why the fuck it's just a duck with a pagoda behind it. It's a cartoon duck, but I popped it in and what do you know? It's DuckTales. It's DuckTales on the NES. It's the same game. These are Neo Geo games. Neo Geo games are pretty expensive to find, but they're really cool. Most of the Neo Geo library are all fighting games. But, you know, they're some of the best. And it really makes you feel like you're playing an arcade. You ever hear of the IntelliVoice voice synthesis module? I'm sure you have because it's on this DVD on the Double Vision. But did you know anybody who owns 4 of them and uses them as bookends? Oh boy, well here's CDI games. Here's 3DO games. Here we have PlayStation, and I think there's some Dreamcast in the back there. Most of them are in the original jewel cases. Some of them aren't. Here's Intellivision games right here. Moving back over here. Here I have some Jaguar games. There's some Atari 5200 games, Atari Lynx, Atari Jaguar, and I have a lot of these in the box. There's some Jaguar CD games and some in the box as well. And then here are 3DO games, which they are the biggest boxes for any game I've ever seen. I mean, look how much room they take up on the shelf. They're bigger than Neo Geo, and that says a lot. Those are CDI games. Over here is the Aquarius. Yeah, the Aquarius. It's pretty weird. Check out the controller. Yeah, it's just one of those like disc ones there. And I got a ton of stuff up here. I mean, this is the box for the original Odyssey. This is the box for the Odyssey 2, Sega CD, the Commodore disk drive. There's a lot of stuff up here. It's a Scopy, Angry Video Game Nerd, Power Pad, Rolling Rocker. There's the box for the Aquarius. Some of these consoles are actually still in the box. There's the Game.com there, the Sega 3D glasses. There's a bunch of boxes, lots of Commodore parts and stuff. There's another Bally Arcade, the U-Force, the ColecoVision Super Action Controller Set. Now that's awesome. We got Laser Scope, and this one's pretty cool. This is a Sega Genesis and Nintendo. We got the Commodore 64. This is a VIC-20. I have two different disk drives for the Commodore. That's the Commodore tape deck right there. The Commodore 64 is the most temperamental game system I've ever seen because it just doesn't work sometimes, and you don't know what the problem is, and it just, some days it'll work and some days it won't. Here I actually have some original paper from the Commodore. And the reason I'm showing you that is because I have the original Commodore printer. Yeah, right next to the original Famicom and the Famicom disk drive. At the bottom here we have just some Commodore games, some Commodore games on cassette, and VIC-20 games, some Vectrex games, Aquarius, a bunch of shit. Those are some Commodore cartridges. Yeah, would you know the Commodore takes all three. It takes cartridges, it takes discs, and it takes cassettes. This is a broken CDI. These are two different model 3DOs. Here we have the Sega Master System 2 and the original Nintendo. And that is my original Nintendo. I'm proud to still own it. And we got some controllers. Basically just a bunch of Atari accessories on top. And here is probably my greatest collection is Nintendo. So I own just about every Nintendo game ever made because we got a whole other half. And it's really tough to own every Nintendo game. It's almost impossible, especially like certain games are like, you know, are just really rare and extremely expensive. But I remember like probably just this row up here was as many Nintendo games as I owned when I was a kid. Just the thought that one day I would see, you know, this much just would have blown my mind. I would have never. You probably couldn't collect all of them back then because, you know, now we have the internet and there's all these ways to catalog all the games that were made and stuff. But back then you just had to read about it in a magazine or somehow, you know, hear about it. But anyway, yeah, Nintendo's probably my best collection. Virtual Boy pretty much stays there in its case, never to be played because who the fuck wants to play Virtual Boy? There's a Super Scope, a Super Famicom, and a European Super Nintendo. They both look the same. Well, here we have the Wonder Wizard. The Wonder Wizard, whoa, made from the finest wood. Super Video Arcade, that's what it is. I mean, see, there's so much this kind of stuff that, you know, it's too much for like my mind to handle. This is the original Atari 2600. And here we have Atari 2600 games. Yeah, Atari 2600. That's all there is to say about that. Okay, so moving on, we got just a bunch of drawers full of instruction manuals. There's some parts of the Odyssey. Basically, this whole thing is just full of shit. We got Nintendo Power magazines. This is almost every issue from 1 to 100. Let's see. So here's the Vectrex, and here we have the PlayStation 2, Sega Master System, Super Nintendo, Philips CDI, Neo Geo, the Miracle Piano back there. We have the Nintendo top loader. A lot of people ask me why I use the top loader instead of the old classic one right there. And that's because the top loader is a little more functional. You don't have to blow in the games as many times and stuff. Well, actually, I use like Windex and a Q-tip a lot. But it works a little better, and it also plays European games as well as, you know, the North American ones. The Atari 7800, which also plays the 2600, not the 5200 though. And here we have a Jaguar, and I'm proud to say, a working Jaguar CD. Thank you very much. And here we have the big ass load of Sega. We got a Dreamcast. I mean, I know you know what most of this stuff is, but you know, some of it like this, like Neo Geo CD. You know, I bet not too many people know about that one. We have Nintendo 64. Sega Saturn. Yes, I do own a Saturn. Many people think I don't. Panasonic 3DO. That's another 3DO. And here we have the GameCube. And here we have the TurboGrafx 16, which also has the CD unit. So that's pretty cool. Hopefully one day I get to that. And then up here we have Super Nintendo games. See, a Game Gear game, 32X, some Sega CD 32X games, as well as Sega CD. Got Donkey Kong and a crochet shit pickle. Shit pickle. Thank you very much. And we have Sega Saturn. And upstairs in the main living space, I have a Wii, an Xbox 360, and a PS3. But the last thing we have here is all the Pong consoles and stuff. And this is where it gets pretty crazy. The steering wheel for the ColecoVision. Here we have the Intellivision 2. Most of these games I don't have hooked up right now. This is the ColecoVision right there. Right here we have the Atari 5200. It's a beast. Sears Pong system right here. It's pretty crazy. This, I don't even think I know what the fuck this is here. Alright, the name on this motherfucker here is the 4-way video game, TV4. Odyssey 2. Yeah, Odyssey 2. A lot of this more rare stuff I got on eBay. Or I got it at like flea markets and stuff. And this is probably one of the craziest things. It's like, it's a gun, plus it's a steering wheel. This is the Coleco Telstar arcade. And you're going around driving and shooting people. Now actually there are 3 different games. And this is actually the cartridge here, believe it or not. See if I could get it off with one hand. No, I don't think I can. But the cartridges are shaped like triangles. So that's definitely unique. This is the Fairchild Channel F. See, I'm showing you everything. This is actually really fun. This is the controller for the Fairchild Channel F. You twist it, you press it, you yank it. It's like, it makes you think in ways that you're not normally used to thinking. And when you're playing Pong with this thing, it's insane. So that's actually a pretty fun system. Alright, this right here is the Odyssey 4000. Yes, the Odyssey 4000. Did they really make that many? Pretty much. Yes, they did. I mean, there wasn't like an Odyssey 3500, 96 or whatever, but Magnavox basically made the Odyssey 1 and the Odyssey 2, which is this thing right here. This is the original Odyssey, and which was the first home video game system that had cartridges, and Odyssey 2 as well, which is down here. This had cartridges. But in between, they came out with all these Pong systems, which just had their built-in games. And there was an Odyssey, like 100, 200, I think, and then they started going into the thousands. So when it came to Odyssey consoles, there was a ton of them. And I also noticed I just skipped by the Intellivision, which you've seen in the videos, not a big deal. The Lynx, that's the Lynx 2. I also have the original Lynx right down here. This right here is the AP TV Fun. Looks like some kind of weird spaceship or something. Oh, and the controllers are like these weird cylinder sort of things. Yeah, AP TV Fun. Here we have the Color Sport 8. Yeah, Color Sport 8. Wow. Here's Radio Shack TV scoreboard. Yeah, this thing looks like TV scoreboard. Yeah, like a TV remote. So, yeah, that's what that is. I have used it too, and it works. Okay, now we're up to the RCA Studio 2. So, this thing is, well, it's another cartridge system. And, I have used it, and it's a piece of shit. And here we have the Ricochet. Yeah. This is the last, well, almost the last of the Pong consoles. We have the Tournament 1000 by Unisonic. Okay, this is the Coleco Telstar. This is just another weird-ass Pong console, not to be confused with the Coleco Telstar Arcade. And now this is one of the stranger ones. This is actually a Pong console made in 1977 by Nintendo. So here we have the first, I believe, the first Nintendo TV Game 6. It's Japanese, so it does not work on any of my televisions. I have tried it. TV Game 15. So that's another one right there. It's the actual TV that I used to play Nintendo on. I don't know why I still have it, because this television is from 1983 at least. I mean, it might even be older, but I think it's from 83. And it's crazy that I still have it around. And when I started doing the nerd videos, I used it because of its, nostalgic value, and it looks like an old TV. But now it's like, I just can't see myself getting rid of it. I mean, it works like shit, but, this is the TV that I used to play Nintendo on, like 20 years ago, so I can't get rid of it. So that's kind of the central piece in the collection. One thing I should talk about is a lot of people want to know how I go about hooking up all these systems. Well, like I said, this wall isn't really functional yet. I have some work to do over here. But right here, basically, as far as plugging them in, you just got to be careful and just plug them all into power outlets. I mean, power strips. And, none of them are ever turned on at the same time. They're all in there just for convenience. And they all have switches, so the one that I'm using is always switched on. So the more things that you can switch off, the better. And just try to keep the wires as organized as you can. That's the only thing you can do. When you have this many consoles, well, you have to break them down into which ones use RCA, which is the red and white and yellow, like the regular AV composite cables, not to be confused with component cables, which are used often nowadays. But okay, so you organize them between those and those stupid RF like coaxial things, and basically those are the ones that have like like that shit. Basically with those, the only thing you can really do is just plug them into like a splitter, and then I have them all going into the VCR here, which the VCR has two. You know how they have two inputs? There's one on the back, one on the front, which is this one. But then they also have like the regular channels that when it's switched to the channel, then it does basically all the coaxial ones, the Master System, Super Nintendo, the Nintendo, which is another point, which is really stupid, that the top loader, that's the only disadvantage with the top loader, is that it uses the coaxial shit instead of the RCA. And the old Nintendo had the RCA, so it's like they took 2 steps forward and 1 step back. But anyway, what you do with all the RCA cables is that they basically all just have to go into splitters. And since they usually, the ones that you find in stores only can do up to 4, which is, really stupid. They don't, I mean, but then again, most people aren't connecting 20-something video games to one TV. Basically, well, here's the DVD recorder I recorded on. So either way, it all has to go through here before it gets to the TV. So what I have is like this chart. Excuse me for 1 minute. There we go. This chart tells me everything I need to know. I made this just to organize all the fucking games I have and how to play them. So, you wanted to know how I do it? That's how. This is where I take my notes right here while I'm playing games. That's what it all comes down to, making these videos. It all starts in this room playing the game and writing shit down. So there you have the Nerd Room. I knew it would take a long time to go through all this, but I figured somebody would be interested, and it's just cool to have as a little bonus feature on the DVD. So I don't know if you hope you enjoyed it. I'll show you a few more things right here. This is all full of controllers. So we have all kinds of light guns and stuff. We got a Dreamcast and CDI, Neo Geo. We got Jaguar and Atari stuff. And here we got some more Atari stuff. Here we have some Nintendo things and Big Bird's Catch. That's a cool controller. Now that is fucking awesome. We're almost done the tour. I'll show you in here. Basically I have all kinds of shit. This is like hats and wardrobe. All my like connectors and shit in here. AC adapters. God, this is heavy. There's more under this box too, but you get the idea. One thing that I encounter a lot when you're doing all these like vintage games is that they don't work sometimes. Sometimes they just don't work. So sometimes you got to have backup, and if you happen to have like an extra part or something, like something that came as a donation, then hey, I'll use it. So it helps out a lot sometimes to have a spare. And I'm actually going to show you where I keep my spares. They're actually on the other side of that wall, which we got to go around into the other room. And since we're going in here, I might as well show you the Nerd Workshop a little bit. I mean, this is the other room. Sometimes I'm doing like green screen stuff here, or I just store things. Like in here I have more props. So this is basically like some of the props from the videos. Have all these old arcade signs here, which is pretty cool. There's the servers where Cinemassacre.com is hosted from. This is just a room where I play around, just work on stuff, whatever. But let's go back here into the corner. This is where I keep the spares. Now I have a lot of like VHS tapes here, lots of stuff that I have on DVD. I have like some extra bottles in case I'm out of Rolling Rock or something and I need to, fake it and use like water. There's all board games over here. I bet you know what that's for. And all the way in the back here we have the duplicates. I mean, there's not too many, but yeah, there's quite a bit. But anyway, sometimes that happens. Sometimes I end up getting duplicates. And, right there, I bet you know what that is. But anyway, that's about it. So I just want to say thanks for all the support with everything. And thanks for buying the DVD. I hope you enjoyed it. I try my best, give you little extra things on it. But that's about it. That's about all I have for this one. So, well, that's a big, exhausting tour of the Nerd Room. And Nerd signing out. I'll see you later.